Today, we got a battle of the bacon. We got hot smoked versus cold smoked bacon. But this time, we're going to smoke them both on the Lone Star Grillz Insulated Mini. If you want to see the last bacon video I did, I'll leave a link down below. Go check that one out. Take a close look at these. Got the cold smoked in front and the hot smoked towards me. We're going to be cooking these up in the Lancaster number 12 skillet. Before we cook this bacon up, let's go back in time and I'll show you exactly how I made it. I'll meet you right back by the skillet. Stay tuned. The first step in making bacon, of course, is to source yourself some nice pork bellies, preferably skinless, because that skin can be very hard to remove. Next, you're going to make a cure. This is an equilibrium cure, which means we're adding just the right amount of salt. I also have black pepper in there, and of course, pink curing salt. In addition, I also add a little bit of cure accelerator, though that's not necessary. You can add sugar in with this mixture. Personally, I prefer to add just a little bit of real maple syrup as a binder to hold this on, to add just a touch of sweetness. I'll leave the exact recipe in the description down below, but the amount of cure is based on the percent weight of pork. If you do everything in grams, it'll be much easier for you. But like I said, that exact recipe I'll leave down below. I did trim this pork belly a little bit, not that much, just a little slice off the edges, and I removed any of the silver skin. You can see there's no skin left on the skin side. These look like pretty nice pork bellies. This one here, the butcher did me a little disservice and cut a little bit too much of the fat off, but that'll be just fine. Now let's get them curing. There's that real maple syrup I was talking about a tablespoon per side. If you like your bacon sweeter, go ahead and do more, but that's totally up to you. Rub that in, and then we'll sprinkle this cure on evenly. If your pork bellies are different sizes, I'd recommend measuring the cure to match each pork belly. But in this case, my pork bellies were just about the exact same size, so I'm not going to worry about making a separate batch of cure for each pork belly. So you're going to get both sides nice and evenly, and then we'll put the next belly right on top in this meat lug. I'm just folding these bellies up so they fit inside this lug I have, and then what we'll do is we'll rotate these a couple times throughout the curing process. I used to obsess over rotating them daily, but I don't think that's really necessary. Just make sure you do a decent job of getting some cure on all the bellies. If you're gonna be curing this in your kitchen refrigerator, I'd recommend going ahead and vacuum sealing them, but I have got a dedicated refrigerator just for keeping my meat in, so I will go ahead and just put a little bit of this Reynolds butcher paper right on top. There's supposed to be a cutting edge in here, but I think I broke it, so we'll just go ahead and rip it off and cover this up. I don't mind losing some of the moisture out of the pork. It's going to help it crisp up a little bit when you cook it, so no reason to really seal it. In fact, if you let it dry out a little bit, it's going to be a better product. I just don't want it drying out too much. So we put this quick little cover on, and then it's going to be into the fridge for 7 to 10 days, and we'll see you when it's time to rinse this pork off. Curing in my fridge for about a week now. Time to rinse them off. Just go out in your driveway, get your garden hose, and hose them down. This is the best way I've found to do this. I tried using the bathtub once, but the wife got a little mad at me, so now we do it out here. You're going to want to give these a good thorough rinse and get all the salt off, or else they're going to be too salty. If you're new to making bacon, I'd recommend slicing up a little piece and frying it up and checking the saltiness. If it's too salty, you can always soak it in water, but I got this recipe well dialed in to my liking. We're going to take about 10 minutes to rinse these off thoroughly, though. Keep flipping them around. Get all the parts. Rinse every bit off good. You know these are cured because you can feel how hard the meat is. Next, when we get these all rinsed off, we're going to put them in the refrigerator on some wire racks. Let them form a chemical, which will allow the smoke to stick to them better. So we'll see you when they're ready to hit the smoker. Here's a setup in my Lone Star Grillz Insulated Mini for smoking this bacon. We're going to try to maintain a temperature of somewhere around 180 to 200 degrees. I'm going to be lighting this up in just a second with this rocket fire torch. Light this up and see how it works. Alright, let's go. Just going to sink this into the coals like that. This is perfect because it's not going to be lighting more coals than I want. About 30 seconds like this and we should be good. Alright, we're going to go ahead and shut this. I got the Inkbird smoke controller over here. Going to let that regulate the temperature. We're going to go ahead and get this pork belly on the Lone Star Grillz Insulated Mini. I got a dowel in here I hang it from, and I use 2 bacon hangers to hold it up. Smoking up good. We'll shut the door. I'm going to get a probe to monitor the internal temperature. I'm going to pull this around 145 degrees. Okay, we're about 5 hours into this cook. Been riding right around 200 degrees for a while now in the smoker. The meat's sitting at around 148 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and pull this pork belly off. I was going to pull it at 140, but I wanted to get a little bit more time in the smoke. Looks like pretty nice color. So let's get this pulled. Take a look at it. It's pretty nice color on it. What we're going to do is we're going to set this outside. It's about 30 degrees out here. We're going to let this cool off a little bit, and then we're going to vacuum seal it. If it's not cold outside where you are, just let it chill in your fridge a little bit. Get some of that heat out of it before you vacuum seal it. You don't want too much moisture in that vacuum bag. Okay, so we're going to get this pork belly into a vacuum bag now. It's cooled off a little bit. I'm going to be using the VacMaster Pro 360 for this because I'm using a 14-inch bag. So you got to have a big vacuum sealer like this. This is a great application for your external suction type of vacuum sealer. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in the bag. The reason why we're vacuum sealing this is because we want to let the smoke even out through the whole piece of meat, because right now the outside is going to have more smoke than the inside, and it's also going to let that smoke flavor melt by letting it sit in the fridge for a little bit. We'll vacuum seal this. It's going to go in the fridge and rest for 2 days before we slice it. Okay, that's all sealed. I'm going to go ahead and put a second seal on it just to be safe. Check back when it's ready to taste. We're back at the Lone Star Grills, but this time we're cold smoking. We're going to light up this pellet maze, and the goal here is to generate lots of smoke, but keep the pit temperature below 90 degrees. Not going to be any problem here in the winter, but if you're smoking in warm weather, you're going to have to be careful about this. The trick to this pellet maze is to make sure that the coals get going pretty good before you let it go out. That's not quite enough. We're going to give a little bit more flame, and it should be good to go. This Inkbird smoke controller is going to keep the air circulating, which is another important thing when it comes to smoking pork bellies. You want to have good airflow. So I'll let that run. I'll just set it to a temperature it'll never reach. I'm going to close this top vent most of the way though, because from experience, I know if I keep it all the way open, the smoke's going to be a little bit mild. This burned for about 7 hours. You can see it's all gone, and I know from experience, again, this is just perfect for my setup. But you're going to have to experiment and see what works for you. I'm going to go ahead and pull this pork belly off. As you can see, it doesn't really have much smoke color to it like the hot smoke did, but the flavor is there. Trust me. You got to trust the process when it comes to this one. So we'll get this off, and then we're going to go ahead and put this right in a vacuum bag and seal it right up. And just like the other one, let it rest in the refrigerator for at least a day or two. And then we'll see you when it's time to slice them. We're going to start off by slicing up the hot smoked bacon, because remember, this one's fully cooked. This one is actually a little bit harder to bend. I did put these in the freezer for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and make some nice thick bacon slices. Your first one there is not going to be too thick, but once it squares off, you'll see we're making some nice little bacon steaks here. These are great for putting on burgers. I'll also make some thin slice, which is nice for wrapping things in. It's a nice slice of bacon there. Now here's what I got out of that one belly, all sliced up. We're going to save those ends. We'll find something to do with those. I did this one actually mostly thin slice because I do like these for making jalapeno poppers on the grill. Now here's that cold smoked bacon. You can see much less color. It's also going to be a lot more flexible. And with this cold smoked, if you don't get it good and cold before you slice it, it's going to be really difficult to get a clean slice out of it. So same procedure, fold it in half so it fits on your slicer. And we're going to go ahead and show you some thick slices here. Take a look, see how these look. Again, the first one's not going to be even. Once they square up, nice, thick, beautiful bacon steaks. Slice this however you want. That's one of the advantages of making your own bacon. Look at that. That is perfect bacon in my opinion. Here's this one. The cold smoked, I did mostly thick slice and just a little bit of thin slice. That's what we got out of that belly. Now, on to the taste test. Quick little tip here when it comes to cooking bacon. On a skillet, I always like to start with a cold pan. Just going to go for medium heat. These are some really thick slices. One closest to the camera right now is the cold smoked, and in the back we've got the hot smoked bacon. This bacon's just about done. Let me know how crispy do you like your bacon, or do you like to keep it a little bit chewy? Okay, let's go in for the taste test. We're going to start off here with the cold smoked bacon. This has always been my standard. Let's give it a try. Oh man. That smoke flavor is so rich, but not overpowering. Oh, now we're going to give the hot smoked bacon a try. Okay. This bacon's good, but the cold smoked bacon takes the prize again. The amount of smoke flavor from cold smoking to me is far superior than anything I can get from a hot smoked bacon. Let me know in the comments down below if you made your own bacon and how you smoke it. But for me, I think we're going to be sticking with cold smoked bacon from now on. I just love that rich smoky flavor. Doesn't have that bitter over smoked flavor. It's just really smoky. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Like, subscribe. You can head to Instagram for daily cooks at Rusty BBQ Lamb. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you want to see more of? Smoke on. Just give me all the bacon. Hot smoke, cold smoke, I'm going to eat it all anyways. Oh, man. Till next time.